Hi and welcome to day 7. How are you today? Have you watched day 1? If you haven't, they're all on here on a playlist for, I think it's under light, language of love, language of light. Oh, hear me? Motorway. Yesterday we did something different, and when my guidance came through for these videos, and I thought I would be starting on the 21st, the summer solstice, but I realised in actual fact we started 2 days before that with the daily lives, but the free meditation Mondays have kind of been along the lines of this and me moving into being totally unapologetically me and sharing what's coming through despite being terrified of what people think. That's part of me letting go, and the whole point of this was this month is about embodying that, so demonstrating it for myself and for others to see how I do that and how you can do that in your own life. So each day I was like, why do I need to go live? Am I doing a meditation every day? What are we doing? Are we doing some challenge? Because generally that's what happens. They'll say, right, for the next 30 days do the meditation challenge, do your observing and connect challenge, or at one point it was do the observing and connect but do it specifically for grief, and then there was a huge thing that happened, and normally there's a reason. So I'm not entirely sure what the reason is for this, but it was definitely coming through, and I felt like it was connected to the solstice because that's when we were going to start. 7/7 is when we are going to conclude, and I had planned, and I still am planning, and I'm inviting you to join me on 7/7. I want to do a workshop for embodiment, so we're going to do a ceremony and a meditation, maybe do some art, maybe similar things to what I've been doing with you. I should be doing some challenging and inviting you into a space to do that with me, and hold space for you to embody that side of yourself. And I was also around that time going to do a come as you be party with my members. We'll see what happens. I'm totally, this is like, that was what was in mind. This is what I'm being guided to do. And in each of these sessions, each day, I don't know, just like when I start my meditation, I go in, I have a rough idea. In some regards, it flows from source, my creative connection, my soul. So today I was like, so what are we doing today? And they said, we'll go over and talk a little bit and see and allow. So at first I thought I'd say about yesterday, because that was the first time I've channeled sound and painted. So when I first started to channel the love language, I'd have my eyes shut because I was meditating more. And then I realised, actually, because a lot of the time I wanted to be in the sun, and sometimes even when I'm doing it, I can open my eyes, and when it's flowing through me, look at the sun, especially if it's not midday. I can't do that normally, by the way. It's important for me to say. So it felt like I was literally feeling the light come in my eyes almost and come out my soul via the conduit of my heart. So yesterday was a new experience for me. So I suppose this is a little bit of a vlog as well. And so we just used colour, and this was the picture that I painted. It's nothing special. If you look closer, there's a lot of writing. Now when I have meditations, you can see I'll bend it a little bit. I will see symbols quite often, and it's not writing as such. I'm not sure whether it's, in fact, the marks that I've made on the paper are nothing compared to the ones I see in my mind. They're so elaborate. I don't think my mind could do them justice. They're so intricate, but they're like locks, patterns. They move, they don't stay in the same place. They're like a 3D language, if you like, that's more about a language as such. It's more about coding and symbols, which is kind of my interpretation of that. kind of like binaries, ones and twos. This has patterns and colour, and different colours with different patterns seem to mean something, and yet multiple. And just like the sounds, when I first started, I was like, well, what does that sound mean? And Elsat Nu was the one that came through, and I was looking up, there's something similar with the Sanskrit, and which is a derivative of Satu, which is the Atlantean language, and I could see similarities, but I realised it was like my soul was pulling random kind of sounds that had similar things from other languages through. So I was like, well, is it a mixture of languages? What's going on? Always asking for more guidance, always kind of going through this journey. And what information come back, which I've spoken about before, is that this is like a prelude to telepathy, when we're beyond words, where it's more about the language of feeling, the language and the frequency of love, of God's source in its clarity, goddess, God consciousness. It's the higher frequencies of consciousness through sound and light. And light can be distortion. We are light in distortion. And when something's completely in distortion, that's when you get disease, when you get illness, when you get the emotional body out of sync and the mental body out of sync. But when it's in resonance, and the oscillation of the frequency is what determines that. So this kind of goes really deep into that on a higher level. And I was like, okay, what is it? What are the patterns? I want to know. And it's like, you don't need to know, because when you express them, you are a reflection, just like your reality is a reflection of what comes out of you, it creates around you. When you're doing it from this heart soul space, it reflects out. So anyone that hears that will see it like a mirror, and it reflects to their heart soul space. And that's why you get activations within it. It's to do with the oscillation of frequency and vibration. I'm not a scientist, although I am into understanding what's happening and going beyond. And I'm often told I'm a bridge between and like an antenna, and I ended up being the antenna in for the Yosoi family in Egypt, which felt relevant, as well as being in the heritage group, which felt relevant for my own memories. And even that aspect, I mean, in one of the meditations they were saying to me, I had to look up what the Morad was. So I heard of it, but I was like, what is the Morad that's dissolving? And it's our concepts of religion that we then create the energy of gods and goddesses. Like, we've created that, our concept of what that is on these other levels. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's actually, it exists even more so, and our faith in something creates it. And we're doing that on multiple levels. And so if you can perceive it, you can believe it. It can be true on all levels, on not just this physical realm, in the other levels. And it's not that that's not happened, but it's, or that it's wrong, or one view of like alien entities or gods and goddesses that are one. Just think of it as all the same. To me, those are higher aspects of the future self, when you look at the concept of time and space. And I was listening to the the Hawaiian forgiveness chant. I'm not going to say it's for Honoponopono. I can't. I'm a little like this today. Maybe that's why I haven't started chanting just yet. Letting all this stuff of the mind and my understanding, as we're kind of not midway, so we're going to go for the 7th. We're kind of into these days together. That's sacred time with self to share, and for you to allow, when I start channeling, to have some sacred time with you. But also in the wording, and when I'm talking about this stuff, it's to reflect that awareness of the consciousness and that consciousness bubble that I'm tuning into with you that's viewing. And I think those that are viewing are at that level. And so I'm like, what does it all mean? I'm always wanting to know why. One of those why children. And there's been, as I spoke about in previous vlogs, some connection to divine masculine aspects for me, and I've been tuning into this kind of, I'm going to say, the way the synchronicities are put in front of you, and you're always given whatever you need to know always comes to you, which is a belief I've always had that serves me. But all beliefs have seemed to be like they're falling away, and that's why I asked about the Morad. And it's because there's no need for that. Look, in the past, people needed, because they looked outside of themselves for that direction. They looked to leaders that maybe were gurus, that maybe had already achieved a sense of a higher perspective and consciousness. So therefore, they were able to guide just by their presence, their frequency. And when you are in a high frequency, you admit that you create shifts around you, and we all do this. You probably notice it in your own life, how people are change. You either trigger them or kind of help, especially if you're drawn to what we do as a healer. And I feel as though this is the kind of next level, not being higher than, but an evolutionary step in this consciousness that's evolving. But I'm still having these like big past life memories. I started doing these episodes on my past life memories because I was having so many of them that, or every time I meditated, I would have this thing. And every time I have a past life memory, or I call it past life for the sake of, for the now, to me it's a memory of tuning into that frequency of consciousness. Now, Matthias de Stefano tells us that we remember the past lives that we hold the same frequency to. So the fact that I remember being a novice priestess in Atlantis before or as the waves hit, and prior to that, I've memories that are outside of this reality, in another realm, if you like, or they seem to be in another realm. It seems like magic with the things that I view, as well as I say it's Mesopotamia. It's between Mesopotamian area, because I don't quite know what country it was. It felt like that area around Turkey and sort of towards China, of that life, which was 400 years ago. But there's not many that I remember being on this realm. It's as almost like I've dipped into certain things that soul aspected was there, but not been here all the time. I'm here at certain times through history, or my soul remembers certain times through history, because that's those frequency oscillations. And now the future self, and another time, and I keep jumping forward. But things feel like they've changed, and I'm not even sure about how relevant they are. I will go over those, and I feel like I'm digressing a little bit, so I'm going to bring it back as to why I needed to be here and why I needed to be channeling and do these sounds and tuning myself as kind of activations and codes, and bringing them in through me, for each of us, is to just embody them, is to demonstrate embodiment. So that's what I'm going to do. So apologies for this video being longer with the talking. I'll put a little thing fast forward for the meditation. And I felt it was important though to elaborate, because it seems like it's evolving as I've gone through these days, and today, as it's day 7, feels quite significant to do that. So, and as we go to the 7th of July, or lead up to the 7th of July, I'm gonna speak less, I think, and just be. So I recommend for the next few days, I might do some more painting, and I felt like I was going to do some Qigong today, but that's not happened. I want to blend everything. There's a sense of I want to embody or show that. And part of that is to, as I do in class, sometimes the love language comes out as we're moving. And even the movements themselves, although I'm following and learning and studying this, it's not always from the textbooks. It's more what I'm intuiting to do. And there are no certificates for that. I can't say, right, hey, Mr. Guide that's in my head that's telling me to do this, can you write me a certificate so I can tell the people I just can only be me and share that with you. So anyway, let's go down, let's see what comes through. Sometimes it might be imagery. I think that there's going to be some times that I will share you with what's coming through, but let's just see what happens. So take a seat, get comfortable, grab your headphones. I'll ignore the fact that my artwork might blow away. The cat's there. Put him on top of it. He normally lays or sprawls on it. Anyway, he's laying on my yoga mat beside me down here. Right, let's start with a little bit of breath. Through the nose and out the nose cycle to start, and we might even go the other way. I think, in fact, yes, let's do a 9 cycle breath. 9 in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then 9 in through the mouth and out through. Just follow along. I'm just going to go hold and is 1, and when we're doing it in reverse, so excuse the stuff, don't worry about that. It's just getting the oxygen, let's get the brain and everything flowing as well. Breathing in through the nose, take a nice deep cleansing breath in. And again. Again. In. And again. That's 5. 6. 7. 8. And 9. Reverse that now, and going this way is actually really good to cool you down, but 1. 2. 3. Release the breath, and just what I call easy breath, just breathe normally. Sitting with the breath, sitting with the sounds around me, around you, listening to your thoughts, listening to the rhythm of your own breathing. I am open and receptive to all good. I allow my soul to flow through me with ease and flow. I let go of any negativity surrounding fears. I decree that I am aligned with the frequency of love, that which is in the highest of this evolution of my soul and those that view, for the highest good of all involved. In Dayatania, in Traikialatana, I Kayananiaya, in Daninai. It's the feeling of my body is not in complete balance, and the heart is. E Sururiaya, E Kurtaitikira, E Kiranianu. Sanadeniata, Esaniataya, Uyatayo, Ikiananusu, Iniataya, Etayana haya ite te atailo sururai osona he ahanora ne kiayana in tailo kialana is hatulayana e tailunai e sanunur kiaya kirayana kitro kiakana ikrikintia entreina Entrina hitai la kirtaklai e sanani tai o shorayana hi e sanuniata en hakiak norkia e kniandia o suniana ka ikit aktulu iktikitiana iktinat rekia ikriata ikiratugiana turanigata is the title que tu klein in the piano. Pitiki piato tutikia, pitiki tana petiata, e petiana nia, petiti pedala, esta nananekiana, esta nananiata nanaya kai, estora tara, the kialanea, e nanania la toraya, e shonanaki kalatata. E turaria turakieta tekna e turakitia turekara e suna tekanana nikataturo rorekai e ketunerera ulurata yanoni katikira niata alanana ananani no ashka e kai kono kola kai nanana O Sulania Tananati, O Tatarara, Tatarania no Dorara, Tatarana no Reala, E Nanakira Tepeka, Shukadala, O Shuturana, E Kurana, Elsa Nonakia, Indunanti Tirana, Isanami Tadapia Namanea, Intuikina Tirana Kata, O Shudariana. Inaya ni tonanaya, iania todanaya, e tonanayata, endanayata, yatinanaya, ototoratata, e tadanati, tananakai, e kotirana, e turanaya, ne aka, call forth my soul, call forth your soul. To do this, you make the sound ka. It's with the heart. I don't know what the K means. What does K mean? K. It is guardian of the soul. It means guardian. As the image I just explained to you, that I feel a presence, and the image that flows through is that of a huge black cat. But that's just my perception of it. It's the energy that is the guardian of the soul, that holds it in a container for all the different timelines. So when I call forth, I'm not opening up to any negative energies or any energies that would take advantage of that sense of being an open vessel to come in. So I'm not physically channeling something within my body. Nothing takes over my body and channels. I'm always in control. As you can see, I always talk now with my eyes shut, but I can have my eyes open with the sound. It just feels weird for me to do that. So I'm not being taken over, which for me at first, when I first started doing this, was a bit weird, because my concept was like, oh, Abraham does this and she disappears. I don't disappear. I'm always present, because my soul is akin to one of these guardians. I think that's what my perception of it is anyway. And I am different colours. I become the colours of these energies that we are akin to the angels. But to me, they're energetical colour of frequency, as opposed to a being, although I do see images that flow through with them, but that's because it's coming through my concept and understanding and the way I perceive. But the way you interpret them may be different. You may see angels, you may see aliens, whatever it will resonate with it that's in the right frequency. Just allow it to mirror your heart and just feel and be and meditate through these sounds. So, ka is to call in your soul and to allow it to work through you, and it's calling fragments of yourself. Now, if you are fragmented in some parts of those aspects of your soul, even including mine, are not yet energetically healed, as long as you're in this container of love, it's fine. It'll allow it to come up though when it's ready, through dreams, through images, through whatever form is needed, and it'll trigger that in your life for that to start, for that healing to happen. I feel of what is surrounding me is the energy of Christ and Mary Magdalene, the masculine and the feminine. I've been feeling this coming in for a while, and I think it's to what it was, but I feel, I keep seeing roses. To me, it's this beautiful red rose represents that, and the teacher within me, as I'm actually going through my own learning and sharing this journey with you, and the teacher within all of us to teach ourselves through our own divine connection. It's not about me being your teacher, it's about me showing you how I'm doing it my way and how you can do it. But I'm very much about you need to do what's right for you. So sound for me is one way, art for me is one way, visions and images are another way. I use cards to tune But for you, it might be running, it might be swimming, it might be when you're immersed in the water, you're feeling the body floating, you connect with the elements, which I've always been, I feel them around me, especially since Egypt and the work I did with Matthias de Stefano. The elements, I felt like when we honoured them, I know we closed that ceremony, but I felt like they stayed present with me because I'd always had a connection. So yeah, I feel as that's that unity consciousness aspect of the mother, Pachamama, meaning the earth. And I learned the other day the difference with Pachamama and is not the earth, sorry, Pachamama is the galaxy mother consciousness, and Pacha something else is the earth. I can't remember the other bit of Spanish. But Gaia is what I always hear. Yep. Okay, give me 5 minutes. Oh, well, I'm going to have to cut this short because someone's just cut themselves. So I will see you tomorrow. Sorry, the language was short today. Blessings to you. We will continue this tomorrow.